Hello friends, I'm so glad you could join me. Now then, what I have a little habit of feeding cats like most of the people around here do. And we have quite a few outside. And some of them are a little bit wild. Some of them are kind of part friendly. They won't come into the house. They will occasionally. Anyway, I was at work and I came home and I got a phone call. Well, it was a card first of all from the RSPCA. They picked up one of the cats which was out in the front. It's quite lush around here, there's plenty of places for them to go. So anyway, I comes home from work. Anyway, apparently it's against the law now you could end up in a lot of trouble if you feed a cat on your property. So, I feed the birds and everything. But upon this proper construction, we're now responsible for the animals on our property, right? So every time there's a dead rat, maybe I should get done for prosecuted for, I don't know, raticide or something. So anyway, I'm laughing about it, but really it's quite serious, of course. And of course, those of you who know me, as a lot of you do, know that the RSPCA don't know who they're messing with. If you look at some of my other films I've made, Arrest That Judge, 7-7 Bombings, Coldstrom and Farrell are dead, Awakened Island Fights Back, Get Out at the Spiritus National Union, blah blah blah, Anyway, this is this is a little warning. I'm laughing about it, but for the sake of feeding, as a human being, feeding some cats, this is the trouble you can get in. So anyway, they came out to see me, and the cat in question, she's kind of on her last knockings, People have been asking about her, if anyone's seen her, and I explained what had happened. So, but the thing is, the second biggest exterminators of animals in the UK is the RSPCA, second only to the abattoirs. And as members of the extended police family, or badge-wearing Stasi, they seem to think that they can put on these suits in the morning and tell people what to do and usurp your common law rights, for a start. Oh, there's that phrase again, isn't it? Common law. Sorry, have you just switched off? Bye. Okay, so let me just play this anyway. It's on my... Now, when they came round, I recorded the conversation. Now, by one of those coincidences that the devil sometimes throws in the way of his disciples, I just happened to be feeding and filming the birds out in the back. And so when they phoned, I recorded it on my camera. So let's have a listen.
Sure, go on. All it is, I believe also one of my officers was interviewing you and came and saw you regarding animal cruelty. Is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. A decision you made that basically what you decided to do, instead of taking you to court, it's gone down as a formal caution, which is like a warning. It's not like a police caution.
For what? For what? I mean, they're taking the fucking piss, pardon my French. It is that. I know I'm laughing about it, but... Okay.
It's a warning, which means obviously you don't go to court, you don't get background on top of that.
Based on what, though?
Sorry?
I don't own any cat.
You don't own a cat now, do you?
I don't own any cat.
No, but you did own a cat, didn't you?
No.
So...
I've actually made a statement to that effect.
Right.
probably an interview that was conducted with you. So to give you this form, and it's like what you get from the cops saying that you have a right to legal representation. Now, I actually recorded the other conversation on my iPhone, the whole thing, and I did it because those of us who are activists and activist filmmakers and documentarians are well aware of the abuses of the RSPCA. Now, let me just say at this point that I fully support anyone who, can bring people to book over animal cruelty. We see these horses that have been really mistreated, and in fact on the news today there was a Cumbrian safari park closed down, and it deserves to be, or the new owners need to, really have animal welfare as their first focus. When you see these dog fights, you see these terrible things that are done to animals, and I'm all in favour. I absolutely support anyone who can prevent that from happening and bring people to book, right? But the powers are going a little bit too far, because what's happening here is, by simply the precedent, and what's really being said here is that by feeding a stray cat, you are responsible for it. Now, the cat's been around for about 12 years in the area, and so is the other one. There were 4 of them all together that communally we feed. So anyway, let's just press on with it.
Yeah, I didn't sign anything or...
No, that's right. No, you didn't.
Yeah, because I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, I know what my rights are.
Yeah. But what they've chosen to do, instead of obviously taking you to court for it.
You see, what was happening there was, they just told me they wanted to chat about the cat. I thought they wanted to know about the cat. And, this is only this bit of the film, but I'll make a bigger version with this, where clearly they came here under false pretenses. I'm kind of jumping to part 2, really. We need to look at part 1, but, life's short. I'll get round to doing the full thing on this, full film on it. But let's just go with this a minute.
What they've chosen to do is...
what they've chosen.
formally warn you. So it's like a warning, basically, as opposed to criminal proceedings against you. That's what they've decided to do. What I need to do is come and see you, just read something to you, and if you choose to sign it, that's entirely up to you. It's just to understand what I've read to you, basically. You don't go to court, you don't get banned, you don't get anything at all, you don't get fined or anything at all like that.
Wow. Where do I sign? Sounds like he's doing me a favour.
So that's what I've asked him to come and see you about. Are you free sometime in the next 2 or 3 days?
Absolutely not. I don't consent to anything.
Right. Okay, so if...
I don't consent to the caution. I don't consent to anything. I don't own any cat.
No, you don't want a cat now, correct? Did we not remove a cat from you?
No.
Right. This is Kevin West from 26.
I came home from work and there was a card pushed through my door.
Right.
And an assumption was made that the cat belonged to this house, or lived here, or resided here.
Right. And that wasn't the case then?
No, it's a stray.
Right. Did anybody come and interview you there and ask you questions?
Repetition.
That's right.
Right, okay. Well, as a result...
All I agreed to was that I actually fed the cat like everyone else does.
Yeah. Obviously, I presume that's probably the reason as to why they are looking to not take you to court for it.
Yeah, because there's no evidence whatsoever. An assumption has been made.
I can only assume, and that, as I say, I don't know the ins and outs of it. It wasn't the investigation.
Exactly, there's no proof whatsoever.
Right. So, are you happy for me to come and see you?
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's fine. And as I say, this may influence where they go with it.
Great.
Well, there's the threat there.
Let's go to court. I could use the money.
That's fine. Yeah, Yeah, no, that's fine, no problem.
Because I've got a ton of evidence of witnesses to state otherwise.
Right, that's grand.
And I'll tell you something else. I recorded that interview.
Right.
Right, and I'm recording this as well.
Okay, perfect.
I know exactly what my rights are, and that's a forensic document.
That's grand. So obviously I've explained to you the fact that we're looking to not take to go to this stage, we're looking to serve an outweighed caution on you, and you're refusing to...
I don't consent to any process whatsoever. I'm not a criminal. If you've got any criminal, well, that's where it's going.
No,
Right? Listen to me. Right? I know what my rights are. I'm a common law citizen and a common law judiciary. If you've got any beef or criminal charges to make, then bring them before the court.
Okay, so just to categorically get this right, you're refusing the caution, is that right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
In fact, I may actually I may take my own legal proceedings against you. There you go.
So he's hung up there. So what happens next? Well, that's the question. So they've got absolutely no evidence. They've took a cat from the front, which, you know, the cat kind of wanders around anyway. You see it across the road in the next street. And because they've picked it up from the front of the house, they've made an assumption, and based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever, other than, you know, that I fed the cat together with everyone else on occasion. You know, that somehow, you know, I own it. You've really got to think about this. So what's really being said? I mean, I feel a little bit bad putting this out there because I don't want anyone to stop feeding animals that come onto the property. You know, but that's the toxicity that is the RSPCA, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, with absolutely no evidence that they think they could take it that far. Now, I could keep my mouth shut and say nothing, and no one would know any different, would they? What's happened is they've gone back, it's been kicked upstairs, then upstairs have kicked it back downstairs, realising there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever based on what's on here. It'd be interesting to see if it'd be great if we got to court and their write-up, see how it matches up with the forensic recording on there. You know, and then if we, you know, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's going to get to court because, well, it can't get to court because there's no evidence, right? But the thing is, they're basically terrorising people, and people who aren't aware as myself of what their rights are, people who aren't as savvy, can easily fall into this set of traps that are laid there. I want you to listen to this tape again and study it, because as with their interview, when they came, they didn't tell me it would be an interview under caution. I can't really go into that at the moment because I need to upload that one as well, which we will do. But anyway, if you're interested, you know, I'll let you know how we get on, and you know. But I do feel sorry for the cat, because I don't know if the cat's still alive or if they've euthanized it or what. That's essentially what they're going to do. And you know, that's really sad. It really is.